Okay, so this is kind of like the part two of don't follow the MGTOW because if you're a young lad for sure, like this is more who I'm gearing this towards. Because like in my comments, I'm gonna have like MGTOWs like just ripping me apart, calling me all kinds of names and stuff like that because you're not allowed to disagree with these guys. They're kind of like the feminists in that sense. They're really, they're very, very immature about it. At least videos I've done in the past. So I get it. I mean, I'm slinging mud, so let them sling mud. And I never censor my comments. I'm not saying YouTube won't, but so if you want to insult me or whatever in the comments, just be mindful that the algorithms might take out your comment. So don't use profanity. You can if you want, but censor it. You know what I mean? So that the algorithms, or else nobody will ever get to see your comment. And if you're going to insult me, make it funny. Make it fucking funny. Because you're talking to a Gen Xer here. I'm like one of the original, and I'm not saying this as hyperbolic. Literally, I'm saying this. I am one of the first generation trolls. From dial-up guys. So if you're gonna fucking insult me, make it good. Make it good. or get out. You know what I mean? For the MGTOW, my first advice: you want to get your first personal improvement. Be good at internet insults. Yeah, but some of them do get very, very mad when you challenge their ideals, right? Same as feminists. And the thing is this video is not really for them. It's for the guys that are just discovering the MGTOW guys. And you're going to get a lot. It has become a bit of a religion and a cult. It has. And that's pretty much anything out there. It doesn't matter if it's the left, if it's the right. It always becomes cultish after a while because in the beginning of these things, you always have dialogue, good dialogue, in fact, very good dialogue. And you usually have the people that really thought their position through. And these guys I don't really take any issue with because they really have come to their own conclusion. The rest are just, here's your conclusion, now you can adopt it. And then now you have a cult. Now you have, religious fanaticism. Feminism is religion. Wokeism is religion. MGTOW is religion. Right-hand path is religion. I'm going to talk a lot about the right-hand path in future videos because it's what we need. It'll take care of a lot of these problems. So, like I was saying in the last video, leopards don't change their spots and people usually out themselves. So, what you usually get with the MGTOWs, channel after channel after, I'm sure there's outliers and exceptions to the rule. I'm not saying there isn't, but in general, you get either A, they've never had a relationship ever in their lives, and they're just going on what other guys have told them about the nightmare scenarios of their lives without having context of why relationships fail, which in this day and age, we have more data than we've ever had, and you can use that to your advantage, and we'll be talking about that in future videos. But one of the things is that it'll always come out something like, I was perfect, I did no wrong, I was so good to her, and she just left me. She just decided to leave for no reason whatsoever. And I'm not saying that's never happened. But what I'm saying is when you start to prod a little deeper, what you find out is, if you look at the divorce rates, okay, they always bring up the divorce rates, which is almost a 50-50. It's a little bit more towards the divorce end than it is for the people staying together end. But the thing is that there's a lot of things in that pie chart that tells you why people stay together and the pie chart of why people get divorced. And if you could check, say, maybe 1 to 3 boxes of the why people get divorced, that already tells you what's going to happen in your relationship, right? Money's an issue. Happiness. That one, I don't think they should have it in there because happiness is a byproduct. Fulfillment creates happiness. Being unfulfilled creates sadness, right? So these are byproducts. So when you hear the MGTOW guy goes, well, she left because she was unhappy in the relationship. There's probably, okay, the question is, why is she unhappy? That one should be out of there because that's not a really critique. It's a byproduct. Happiness is a byproduct of fulfillment. It's not a destination. It's not something I'm going to work on being happy. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but it doesn't. What ends up happening is you start prodding, and then it's like, oh, well, he smoked dope, played video games, and was drunk all the time and was unemployed. Geez, why did she leave him? You know what I mean? And you hear a lot of these MGTOW guys, that's all they advocate for, too. These are the more incel type spectrum of the MGTOW guys. And I know the MGTOW guys don't like to be called incels. No, they're losers. We're improving ourselves, blah, blah, blah. Go to the gym, bro. Do you even lift? you know all the things. But then you start, okay, well, she was unhappy because, you get home and you just turn on the TV and drink beer, whatever. And you ask him, okay, well, what's a typical day with you and your wife? Like, what was a typical day? From Monday to Friday. What did it look like? And you start finding out, well, the guy never talked to her. The guy never did that. He was out with his friends all the time. Argumentative. And a lot of these MGTOW guys, they have personality traits that it's like, well, I can understand why somebody would leave you. You're a bit of an asshole. Like argument, demanding argument, whatever. The exact same thing they accuse women of. A lot of times they're that themselves, right? Guys don't like being with a really controlling wife, really, argumentative and stuff. No, she's an asshole. If she's being an asshole, of course you don't want to be with her. People people will spend months trying to figure out what remote to buy for their TV. Should I buy this one over that one? They'll go through all the specs and everything like that. Cell phone's even worse. They'll sit there for months. I'm going to get this phone. No, I'm going to get that phone. I'm going to wait till this phone comes out. But they'll jump into a relationship in 2 seconds without giving a thought of what does the other person bring to the table, what do I bring to the table, right? And a lot of it's doomed before it even starts. And you can get that out of these guys just by letting them explain the relationship to you. And then you can start pointing out, well, maybe you think, you could have improved this. Why, if you're going to improve yourself, why do you have to wait till you have a failed relationship to start working on yourself? You know what I mean? Shouldn't that be now? That said, I'm not saying the women are blameless in this, but again, you can look at the pie chart. Mental illness has a lot to do with people breaking up. So you end up with a woman that's mentally ill, chances are your relationship's going to be doomed. If you are mentally ill, chances are your relationship's going to be doomed. I'm not saying it's an impossibility. I'm just saying those are your odds. Drugs and alcohol are big. Money, the money one, I take issue with that one. It is an issue. Studies have shown that it is an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as you think it is. It really isn't. I know lots of people that are working class poor. It's the guy that has the job, loses the job, and has no inclination to go get another job. Like, it's like, I've been out of work for 3 years now. Well, you're just not looking. You're just not looking. Like, look, I live in the middle of nowhere, okay? I have to make my own jobs. You know what I mean? Like, if you live in the city or whatever, and you're out of work for 3 years, it's simply because you don't want to work. Now, good paying jobs, that's a different thing. Okay, yeah, I can accede to that. But, again, if you have a woman that's going to leave you as soon as your job is you don't have a comfortable job anymore, you're probably going to know that before you even get to that point. Yeah, she's probably going to show the traits that this is not a woman you want to get involved with. And I think that's a lot of these MGTOW guys, that's what their problem was, is they didn't critique. And I understand it from a male point of view. Like, when a woman shows you interest, you tend to overlook a lot of red flags, right? And I remember one MGTOW guy who was sitting there going, well, he started explaining who his wife was. And I'm like, well, no wonder. I mean, like, she was like on her 4th fucking marriage. And I was like, and you thought you were going to be the one, And it was just like, she cheated, she did. And it's just like, but you knew that when you met her. So do I feel sorry for this guy? No. It's like, dude, now you know. Put that in your toolbox. You know what I mean? So yeah, these guys were usually out themselves, and what you'll find is that it usually takes 2 to tango, and that these guys weren't perfect. But anyway, I'll make another part.